Welcome, everybody, to the third installment of the Fantasy Bruddas podcast. It's your boy SP Sterling Phillips, aka Fantasy Know It All, and we got my co-host Lil Spence, aka Lil Spence, aka this brother don't know stuff, but you know he on the show anyways.
Nah, man, you already know I know my stuff. This is suspense. It ain't no Lil Spence no more. This is suspense. Checking in from Lawrence, Kansas. You already know. We're going to make it happen. We got a few things on the agenda today. We're going to talk about, the new contracts that have been just... The NFL players are finally getting paid, man. And I really do like to see it happen. We're going to talk about some people that we like that have some new reports that just came out about, how they're going to be used. And then we're going to talk about some cloudy situations from a fantasy perspective and from just the NFL win-loss perspective. So, yeah, we got a good little show for y'all today. Fuck this guy Sterling for talking shit like I don't know my stuff. But we're going to get it popping. Let's go.
Let's get it. So who's first on the agenda that got paid? I mean, obviously, Odell Beckham getting his paper. Well deserved. I mean, we're talking about a guy that came in the league. Only player ever to record over 1,300 yards in all three of his first seasons. I mean, the guy is a walking legend going into year 4. He deserved every penny, especially what he does for the New York Giants offense. I mean, nothing but respect. I'm glad he got his paper.
I mean, yeah, Odell was like the fastest to 300 receptions and then the fastest to 4,000 yards in NFL history. And I mean, the guy was doing this from the minute he stepped on the field. You know what I mean? He didn't have no rookie slump, no rookie adjustment, no sophomore slump. The guy just came into the league, was a problem from the first game, and it's well deserved, man. I mean, he's getting 5 years, $95 million, $65 million guaranteed, reset the whole market. I guess now you're just about to have people like Julio and Antonio Brown trying to get their paychecks up. But at least for now, Odell has bragging rights that he's the highest paid receiver in the league, and it's well deserved. The next guy is Aaron, that bad man Rodgers. I mean, this guy got paid 4 years, $134 million, and apparently it could be worth anywhere from all the way up to $180 million. $103 million guaranteed.
You know, from a fantasy perspective, I don't see these big contracts just making a guy go up or down. I mean, typically you see, especially with defensive players, maybe there might be trending downwards once they get that big payday. But typically offensive players, even once they sign, that lucrative deal, they come back, firing on all cylinders. That's just like kind of like an eyeball thing that I've kind of noticed just around the league. One of the biggest signings, I have to say, what's that D lineman that played for the Redskins? I forgot his name. I don't know why I want to say Leonard Hankerson, but I don't think it's Leonard Hankerson. It was someone else.
No, I know who you're talking about.
Literally signed a $100 million deal and just fell off the face of
it.
Albert Hainsworth. Yeah, I mean, literally, he fell off the face of the earth after he's signing a $100 million deal. But
that's the thing. Like, that's why these teams are reluctant to give people those big contracts for many-year commitments because they can just franchise tag their best players, and that does give them incentive to put up great numbers. But I think you just got to look at the player you're giving the money to. Like a guy like Odell, Odell is chasing more than money. Of course, he has his little fun and, he does his dances and stuff. But when it comes to the game of football, I believe he truly wants to be the best player.
Definitely.
He said it himself, he wants to be legendary. And so guys like that deserve to get paid. So I'm
glad
Odell got paid.
He came in day one, wasn't holding out, doing all the right things.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, maybe he set a new precedence from this whole holdout situation. Maybe, people kind of... Typically, the holdout does work. If you hold out, typically, you're going to get paid eventually. But it looks like these owners are playing hardball, especially John Gruden and the Oakland Raiders over there with Khalil Mack. I mean, what has this guy not done for your defense? He's the cornerstone of your team, and you don't want to pay him. I
Dude,
mean,
I mean, the thing is like, how can you sleep at night giving John Gruden a 10-year, $100 million deal, and you don't even want to pay your best player?
yeah, it's nuts. So they need to, Al's turning over in his grave right now. I mean, he's just like, just
Yeah.
pay the man.
Well, there's a new report because I mean, John Gruden apparently was not even talking about it. Allegedly, I don't know if that's coach speak for just we haven't made a new deal yet. Of course, they're probably talking about this deal, right? But apparently, the Raiders are reportedly seeking 2 first rounders for Mack. How would you feel about that trade?
I think Mac is a sure thing, and even though 2 first rounders are pretty damn good, I wouldn't trade away Khalil Mack. I mean, how old is this guy? We're talking about he's maybe 3-4 years out of college. I mean, still
25, 26,
25. I
maybe.
mean, like he's
Yeah.
still has about 4 or 5 years in his prime.
Or actually, he's
I
27. He's 27
he's
right now.
27, so
But
I'd
he's
say he
still,
has
yeah.
he has 3 to 4 years until he starts declining. And I mean, he's arguably top 3 defensive player in the league. So yeah, I'd say pay him, but who can argue against 2 first round picks, right? I
I
mean,
mean, dude, the Jets have expressed interest, and they would probably give 2 first round picks, especially if they feel Sam Darnold's a quarterback, and pay him because I
dude, if
mean
the Jets were to pull that off, I mean,
it would change
I
their whole team.
yeah, it changed their whole team because the Jets are literally a few players away to being competitive. Like seriously, they had a solid defense last year, and they honestly just couldn't move the ball, but they showed that they actually have some potential. And Roddy Anderson, they drafted Sam Darnold. I mean, Isaiah Crowell yet to be seen. I mean, that's probably the only knock you can say. Oh well, you can say a lot of knocks on on their offense the last few years. One, they haven't had a quarterback until potentially Sam Darnold, but we'll see what happens with that. I want to say the last good quarterback they had on paper was probably Mark Sanchez, and I mean, just saying that over in my head, I mean, just realize how trash they have been.
I
So
mean, Mark Sanchez had like those 2 good years, and then did he take him to the AFC Championship that one
yeah, take
year?
him to the. I mean, that's why
Yeah,
people believed in him.
yeah,
But I mean, he's trash, and I mean, I don't even know if he's still in the league.
yeah. I don't
But
know,
yeah,
but
that
I mean, he's the butt fumble guy. That's probably the single worst NFL play I've ever seen in my 24 years of existence. But anyways, you know, Mac needs to get paid or let that man leave and get paid somewhere else. So
exactly.
on to the next guy, man. This guy, I don't know, man. Le'Veon Bell. This is his second time getting franchised, and of course, he's doing the same thing as he did the first time he got franchised. He's not been at training camp, basically working out on his own. Who knows where? And um, obviously he's ready for the season at all times, right? But I mean, doesn't this get old as a player and as an organization? Like, how do you feel?
Um, yeah, it gets old. I'm tired of seeing it. I think they need to at least express a. I'm pretty sure they've thrown a 2, maybe even a 3-year deal. But what Le'Veon wants is a 4 to 5 year deal. I don't think he's going to get 5, but I definitely think he deserves a 4-year deal. Just some type of commitment that the organization makes to him because he's definitely sacrificed. I mean, you get in a running back league where running backs are disposable. You're talking about giving it to your back 400 times in a season. I mean, that's unbelievable.
That's my
So
whole point. Keep going.
yeah, I mean, he does it all. He basically plays the RB1 and the wide receiver 2 to 3. I mean, on the same team. So I mean, pay the guy. it just sucks whoever, has Le'Veon Bell. Those first few weeks in fantasy are going to be a little difficult because, your Haas is, giving you maybe 10 to 12 points when he's very well capable upwards of 20. But, if you can withstand those weeks, I mean, you're looking, of course, whoever drafts Le'Veon, he's the cornerstone of your team. So I'm not saying don't take him. I'm just saying to expect a little bit of a slow start.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, Le'Veon usually takes him like 1 to 2 games to get going, and then he hits his midseason form, 5 games in, and is a beast the way through. But, he actually did get offered a deal this offseason, but it was 5 years, I think $70 million, and only $33 million was guaranteed. And that was, I think, the main reason why it didn't get signed was because of guaranteed money, and just because I think he and his agents were trying to be in the neighborhood of about $17 million. And in contrast, I just find it funny that that's exactly what Antonio Brown is making per year, is 17 mil. And Le'Veon Bell was saying, I want to make 17 mil. And the Steelers were like, nope. And in my opinion, Le'Veon Bell is arguably as valuable, if not more valuable, to the Pittsburgh Steelers offense as Antonio, right?
Definitely.
So I think Bell just wanted to get paid the same as Antonio. They give the man the ball 400 times a year, run him into the ground, give him receptions all day, and the guy is all-time Hall of Fame back. Ain't seen a guy do this since LT, man. So pay that man, give him a deal. If not, maybe he'll go to the Jets too. Who knows? The Jets might start making moves and getting all these free agents and pull a Cleveland, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. And lastly, D tackle out of Los Angeles with the Los Angeles Rams, Aaron Donald. I mean, we're talking about the best defensive player in the league, bar none. I know when I say he's a clear-cut best defensive player in the league, no one's going to argue that. No one. And you're the best. If we were talking about the best quarterback in the league, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew, even throw Drew Brees in there, yada yada. We're talking about those guys get paid immediately. Even your best receivers typically, or offensive players, get paid. But I don't know what it is with the defense, because honestly, the defense controls the game. I mean, if you can get to the quarterback and put pressure on the quarterback, stuff the run, I mean, the offense is useless. And you put I don't need to explain the game of football. It's pretty simple, right? So I think he's earned every dollar. Pay him, get on with the season. You just can't, you're coming off the Rams. I mean, the last time the Rams were mentioned in the Super Bowl picture was back when Kirk Warner played for him. You're back in the hunt. Get your team together and move on. I don't understand what the holdup is.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, I'm not in the GM rooms and I'm not in the cap room. I don't know the cap room situation, but I know talent when I see it. I know that 100% they'd be 10 times worse without Aaron Donald on the field. Even though they have Ndamukong Suh, like having him and Donald, dude, I mean, you probably can't run the ball up the middle, and you got two Bears that can get sacks coming from the middle and the outside now. So pay that man too.
Yep, agreed. So what's next on the agenda, my friend?
Man, I wanted to give a shout out to Kenyan Drake just real quick. If you drafted Kenyan Drake like I did in a couple leagues, just give yourself a pat on the back right now, because everyone was saying these things like, "Oh, they drafted Kalen Ballage, Frank Gore, oh no, blah blah blah, whatever." Adam Gase came out and said, "We're running the hurry up offense. We're gonna do more no huddles. We would like to have 70 to 75 plays per game, as opposed to what they did last year, which was about 65 to 67 plays per game. And of those plays, they want to give Kenyan Drake about 15 to 20 rushing attempts per game. And they said he's going to see about 6 to 8 targets in the pass game per game. So, I mean, you're looking at Drake getting about 20 touches per game and then if he's having a good game, potentially more. And I mean that kind of usage over a healthy season of basically what he did the last 4 games, the guy could have 1,200 rushing yards, 400 to 500 receiving yards. Who knows what this guy can do when given a full season in that type of usage? So take Kenyan Drake as your RB2 confidently and even more confidently in PPR leagues, and you will not be disappointed, health permitting.
Yeah, I'm still. I love the news. I love the news, but I just need to see it. You know what I mean? I just need to see it, and I haven't trusted the Dolphins' offense in years. So, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. I think where Kenyon Drake is being drafted, he's a steal if it pans out. So, hey, scratch that lotto ticket and see if you're a winner. But it's definitely worth buying. I'll say that.
Yeah, but
I'll say that.
I remember when we were doing our little dynasty auction league, Le'Veon Bell had a year similar to what Kenyon Drake was doing. They started using Le'Veon Bell the latter part of the season the way he needed to be used, and he turned into a superstar. And so I'm not saying Kenyon Drake is Le'Veon Bell, but he's worth the risk. Take the chance. He got the cosign from LaDainian Tomlinson. That he's I believe he's going to be a problem. So take him with confidence. But on to the next topic. Didn't you want to discuss the Eagles situation?
Oh yeah. So if you've been studying and just following your NFL news, you've noticed a trend in the Eagles practice situation, and Jay Ajayi's nowhere to be found. We're talking day 9 of not practicing with about a week to go till the start of the NFL season. I see red flags. I see that they're classifying this injury as a lower body injury. So they're not specifying if it's an ankle, a knee, a hamstring. I felt like if it was nothing and it was more like a soft tissue injury or even just an ankle, they would say what it is. But they're calling it a lower body injury. And we all know Jay Ajayi's injury history coming from Boise State was he had a bone-on-bone issue in his knee, and it was kind of on the fence of whether he's going to actually play the game of football again. But he actually recovered, made a name for himself in the NFL, and here we are. But with that being said, in Jay Ajayi's situation, that automatically brings some fantasy focus to Corey Clement. So Corey Clement is pretty much a Swiss Army knife back that can do it all. Run between tackles, catch the ball out of the backfield, pass block. He is an every down back, in my opinion. If Jay Ajayi misses any time, grab Corey Clement. He's going into middle to late rounds right now. But I'm saying if Jay Ajayi misses any time and Clement gets the chance to be the premier back in Philly, watch out. Watch out. That's all I'm saying. Watch out. I think he has real potential to be a strong RB2 candidate, but that I would probably say that's his ceiling right now. But who knows? I mean, in a high-powered offense like the Eagles, if they get Wentz back, I mean, it could be scary. So we all saw what he did in the Super Bowl. We've seen him. He makes plays, and in the NFL that speaks for something, and in fantasy it even speaks for even more. So if y'all have a chance to get him in your leagues, draft with confidence.
Yeah, I like Clement too, man. Just to give you a little numbers game. On 74 attempts, the guy had 321 rushing yards last season, over 4 yards a carry. On 10 receptions, he had 123 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he rushed for 4 touchdowns. So the guy finds the end zone. If he's a feature back, he is a RB. He's a flex RB2 for sure. So get him in those late rounds. I agree with that. All right, man. So I just kind of wanted to talk about a particular offense from a fantasy perspective and just an NFL perspective that I'm so cloudy on. but that could have serious potential, and that's the Redskins. So as far as like drafting like a Redskins receiver, let's say like Paul Richardson, Josh Doxson, or Jordan Reed, there's obvious question marks, right? And we know what Alex Smith can do, but we haven't seen him with this set of receivers. And we haven't seen a healthy season from Josh Doxson, a completely healthy season. Last season was his healthiest season, and he had some up and down. He flashed. He was a little flash in the pan. We haven't seen a complete healthy season from Jordan Reed. I don't think since he's been in the league. And then Paul Richardson, I really kind of like him, but it's still kind of a unproven situation. And so out of those, I guess two guys at receiver position, would you rather have Josh Doxson or Paul Richardson? Would you rather take a chance on?
Oh, definitely Doxson.
Definitely Doxson.
Definitely Doxson. I think Paul Richardson has proven that he's capable of being a wide receiver in the NFL. But I mean, Josh Doxson's the better talent.
I mean, I agree 100%. He's a better talent, but I have a hard time. I guess I do believe also that Josh Doxson is the better talent, has more potential. But looking at Paul Richardson's stats from last year, I mean, he was pretty good for the Seahawks. He was Russell Wilson's kind of like deep threat. He kind of played that Jermaine Kearse role that Jermaine Kearse would have those big games, but on 80 targets, he had 44 receptions for 703 yards and 6 touchdowns. Granted, most of that production came in, the course of a few games like it does for a lot of receivers, but I think if he gets the usage, if he gets anywhere over 100 targets, he might convert 60 receptions to be a 1,000-yard guy. So we'll see. I just say stay on the lookout for Paul Richardson. I think he's going who knows what round. He might be going undrafted in some leagues or even the 10th, 12th round. I would say take a late round flyer on either him or Doxson and, just see if it can reap the benefits because one of those guys will emerge. My money's on Doxson, but if you can't get Doxson, just take a chance on Paul Richardson, in my opinion. But it's up to you.
Fantasy Brothers back, and we're about to get right back into it. We're gonna cover we're gonna do it in two sections. So we're gonna start off with a tight end that is a top 5 tight end that we personally like. Just give our breakdown on that player, and then we're gonna go an up and coming sleeper tight end that really has a chance to make it their way into tight end 1 territory. So without further ado, let's get into it. So my guy, it goes by the name of Greg Olsen, plays for the Carolina Panthers. Guy's veteran in the league, knows how to play, tough player. He's coming off a nagging foot injury from last year, but with Cam and that offense looking as good as it is, I mean, they have skill players at every position. Greg is going to be able to pick his spots and make plays. I definitely see Greg Olsen staying in producing as a tight end 1 throughout the season. Probably end up just over 1,000 yards with maybe 5 to 6 touchdowns. You can get this guy in say 12-team standard drafts around the 7th, 8th round. If he falls to you, get him. I mean, in a PPR, especially in a PPR league, he can rack up the targets in a hurry. It's basically Cam's security blanket. So I definitely like Greg Olsen this year. I have him on several of my teams, and I'm looking for big things out of him this year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree, man. If Greg is healthy, he's always top 3 tight end, top 5 at worst. And there's no indication that he's not healthy this year. Cam security blanket, I think he's going to be nice, of course. But a guy that I think is going to be nice as well, who's not necessarily flying under the radar, but he usually doesn't get the respect he deserves, and I still don't get why. And that's Delanie Walker. for the past 4 years, the guy's had at least 63 receptions and 800 yards. His touchdowns are kind of volatile. Like last year, he only had 3 touchdowns. The year before, he had 7. The year before that, he had 6. And the year before that, he had 4. So I think it's a safe bet to say he'll probably have 3 to 6 touchdowns, but at least 800 yards receiving. And he's Mariota's safety blanket, just like Greg Olson's Cam's. And so take Delanie Walker as your tight end 1. I luckily have him as a backup in one of my leagues, so I can exchange him with Jimmy Graham whenever. But take Delanie Walker, and you won't be disappointed. But who's your like sleeper tight end? Do you have a sleeper?
Yeah, and out of Cleveland is David Njoku. The guy in the preseason, catching 2 touchdowns in a preseason game, one from a presumable starter Tyrod Taylor, and another one from the up and coming rookie Baker. The guy's a big target, and I love Njoku with Tyrod Taylor. We all know Tyrod Taylor and Charles Clay was honestly made Charles Clay a borderline fringe tight end 1. And Njoku is younger, more athletic, and in my opinion, can stretch plays and make bigger and better plays than a Charles Clay. So I love the matchup. Hopefully that dynamic actually clicks, and I actually expect big things from Njoku. At least, he, in my opinion, besides maybe Josh Gordon, he's the red zone target, in my opinion. I would throw it up to Njoku rather than anyone else. So he's definitely a guy. If he falls to you, I'm talking about pick this guy in the 9th or 10th round of your draft. I'm actually me and Spencer are in a league where we actually have a 2 tight end set. So if he's your tight end 2, or if you want to roll the dice and make him your tight end 1, I honestly think you might hit on it, because I'm rolling those dice as well. So that's my sleeper pick at tight end for 2018.
Yeah, just all you gotta do is watch the preseason, and you'll see why you need to draft Njoku. He flashed the whole preseason. I think he had a game with 2 touchdowns on some impressive catches. And the thing is like some tight ends are really dependent on what quarterback they have. Tyrod looked good throwing him the ball. Baker looked good throwing him the ball. So no matter who's starting, I think Njoku will get the targets and the receptions that he deserves. We haven't seen him on the field with Josh Gordon. I don't know if that would take away from some red zone looks or some receptions, but I still agree. Take Njoku. My sleeper, or not necessarily a sleeper, but maybe a potential breakout guy this year is George Kittle. As a rookie last year, he had 43 receptions for 515 yards and a couple touchdowns. I've been hearing nothing but good reports of the growing rapport with him and Jimmy G in camp. He's Jimmy G's safety blanket, and Jimmy G loves to throw to the tight end. I think I like to see him make that second year jump, just like Njoku. I'm not gonna say he'll have 1,000 yards and this and that, but I think a safe prediction would be about upwards of 60 receptions for 700-800 yards and probably 4 to 5 touchdowns. So take George Kittle as well. Those are probably some modest productions as well, health permitting. So take George Kittle as well, because I see some good things coming out of San Francisco with him.
Yeah, I'm just a little iffy on that shoulder. That shoulder might be a little tender coming back, but we'll see what happens with Kittle, because I think Kittle, what he showed last year, showed that he's a playmaker, and being groomed in that New England offense for years. Jimmy Garoppolo has learned to love the tight end, so. Pause. Yeah. But I'm just saying, Jimmy, he has real potential with Kittle to make a really nice mark in fantasy this year. So yeah, I agree. Yeah. So our next,
Jimmy G, he does. You can say he likes the tight end and not be a gay thing, because he was on a date with some porn star or something in Beverly Hills.
Oh yeah, he was.
So,
He was.
Jimmy G. He probably fancies himself a player, and I ain't mad at him. If I was
I ain't mad at him either.
So let him
do him.
Exactly.
So our next segment, we're gonna get into bets that we like. So basically, we're looking at all the game spreads for the first game of the season and look at some of the spreads where I would definitely take it. Take a certain team, and if you have a couple $100 to spare to, put a little money on a parlay or just do a straight up bet. These are our picks for the week. So Spence, you want to start us off with 3 picks you like?
Yeah. So the way I kind of did it was I have 2 games that I think are sure things. Obviously there's no sure thing in gambling, but I fancy myself a gambler. So I have 2 games that I think are sure things that I wouldn't hesitate putting my money on, and then I got one that's a game that might be kind of iffy, but that I'll still have the prediction that the team that I would go with. So the first game would be the Buffalo Bills at the Baltimore Ravens. The spread is -3.5, and it's you've seen what the Buffalo Bills have at quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Did you see Josh Allen against the Bengals in the preseason? I mean,
oh yeah, I saw that.
That was one of those teams in that division, the Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns division, where that defense is pretty nasty. And so I see them getting after the quarterback, whether it's Josh Allen or A.J. McCarron, or please God, don't let it be Nathan Peterman. But
it's trending towards Peterman.
Yeah, I see them getting after the quarterback, creating some turnovers. The offense will control the game, and I see them having a comfortable touchdown win. So bet with Baltimore on that game, and see yourself having some extra money to buy a new pair of shoes or whatever the following Monday. And just thank Fantasy Brothers when you win that bet. What's one of your sure things?
My sure thing? Oh, the Cowboys fans aren't gonna like me for this one.
Hold the fuck up. Just so everybody knows, I'm a Cowboys fan, but I am also unbiased when it comes to betting. Okay? Just a disclaimer. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Cowboys fans are going to be angry at this one, but Cowboys go to Carolina Thursday night. It's actually the first game of the season. And they are playing the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers offense looks amazing. I mean, they have playmakers at every position. They have a red zone targets, and you have Cam. Cam can extend plays. Cam, when accurate, is one of the most deadly players in football. There's a reason why this guy was MVP. I do like the Cowboys this year. The defense is looking better. They got Zeke healthy, ready to go. The only way I can see the Cowboys winning this game or even covering the spread is if they can score and Dak can manage that clock. Where if Cam is actually playing catch up, it might go Cowboys, but I don't think that's going to happen. I would probably say I'd bet a nice significant piece of change on the Carolina Panthers covering that 2.5 points spread. I think they win by at least 3 at home, first game of the season, and hungry. So I like the Carolina Panthers in that matchup week first game.
Yeah, as an unbiased bettor, I do like the Panthers in that game as well. I think that it's just too many weapons on offense, too many playmakers, and I'm not going to say who has the better defense right now because Dallas Cowboys defense has actually made some improvements. I really wish that they would stop fucking around and get Earl Thomas. I mean, I don't think Seattle wants to let him go for obvious reasons, but I still would edge Carolina's defense slightly over Dallas's. And so I see Carolina winning, by at least 3 as well. And just so people are clarified, that game is not the first game on Thursday. It's actually on Sunday, the afternoon game on Fox. So be on the lookout for that game.
Oh, my bad. What game's
The first
Thursday?
game is the Falcons versus the Eagles, which will be a great game at Philadelphia. Depending on
Oh, it is Falcons Philly. Oh my goodness, my bad.
Right, but depending on the health of the players, that's not a bet that I would do. But if people just want to they're licking their chops and they want to bet Thursday, I'd probably bet with Atlanta on that game personally, especially with all the cloudy situations going on in the Eagles organization. But my other sure thing is the Titans at the Miami Dolphins. And I know I was just saying how I love Kenyan Drake and everything. I love him from a fantasy perspective. I don't love the Miami Dolphins as a team. And the Titans showed that they took a step last year. That's a playoff team. They got a new coach who, from all accounts, will hopefully accentuate the strengths that they have and mitigate some of their weaknesses. And the spread's only 2.5. I think that the Titans are better than them at basically every position except running back. I mean, but the combination of Henry and Lewis will create mismatches, and I think it would just be too much for Miami to handle, even at home. So I see the Titans winning by at least 3. That's all you need is a 3-point win to win that. And so that's my second for sure thing. How do you feel about that?
I with a healthy Tannehill and you got Keenan Drake back there, and hey, Dolphins defense is no slouch. They made additions this year. I definitely just see it being a close game. Let's see what Marcus Mariota shows up to play, because if it's a Marcus Mariota that's making plays and not turning the ball over, Titans are going to be hard to stop because they have a great defense in their own right. And Tannehill, I'll take Mariota over Tannehill any day. So I could see it going either way, but that's the game of football, right? I mean,
yeah, and that's the game of betting too. There's no sure thing. This is just all opinion. Anything can happen. But if I am a betting man, and I know other people are as well, and I would put my money confidently on them. So do what you want, but
So my next game that I like is the Redskins at Arizona. The spread is -1 for the Cardinals. I think people are undervaluating Sam Bradford. When healthy, this guy is pretty damn good. He's pretty damn good. But that's the big if. When healthy, he's never healthy. But hey, it's week 1, game 1. He's healthy. They have Larry Fitzgerald. They have David Johnson. They got weapons. I like the Cardinals in this one. The Redskins do have Alex Smith. They do have experienced guys at the playmaking positions, but I'm not a believer in Adrian Peterson running the football. I'm just not. So I would take David Johnson over Adrian Peterson any day. I would take Alex Smith over Sam Bradford, but there's not one playmaker on the Redskins I would take over Larry Fitz. So I think this game goes to the Cardinals, and they just need to win. They just need to win by more than 1, of course, but I think they'll win by 3 or more. So I like the Cardinals at home against Redskins. Bet confidently, make some money.
That's a tough game.
That's a tough game. That's a tough game, but I do like the Cardinals.
Yeah, I do like your analysis on that. That's a tough game, but I do like the fact that Arizona's at home. I haven't seen Washington be that good on the road, especially against opponents outside the division. So, that's a good pick, but that's a game that's one of those fuck games where shit probably wouldn't go right, and you might lose some money on some fucked up field goal shit, or I don't know. But if I had to bet, I would go with the Cardinals too. And
for sure.
That with that being said, that kind of leads me into my game that's a tough call. And this game is a tough call. Still, it's the 49ers versus the Vikings. The the first game of the season for both teams, obviously. And I just don't know. Like, I feel like we have a better idea of what Minnesota Vikings team we're getting out there, and we still don't know what San Francisco 49ers team we're going to get. Of course, Jimmy G, he looked amazing the games he started. But this is the NFL. Once you have however many games of film out there, you become that much easier to figure out. The Purple People Eaters defense is arguably one of the best in the league. They added Kirk Cousins. Dalvin Cook comes back. I just like the Minnesota Vikings to win at home in front of a hungry fan base and a motivated team that has Super Bowl or bust aspirations. And so I think they want to set the tone with this first game. The spread is 4.5. That's kind of scary. That's kind of a scary number because a lot of things can happen. I like the number 3, 2.5 better, obviously, because all you need is a field goal. But I would still bet with Minnesota Vikings on that game. Minus 4.5. Just the hungrier team and just the overall better team.
Yeah. I mean, that can go either way.
That's my tough call game.
Yeah, that's a tough. I know that's a tough call, man. That's a tough call. Hey, I'd hate your, the end of your parlay to be on that game.
Right?
Have you sweating bullets? Yeah. So my game, tough call game, is the Jacksonville Jaguars at New York Giants.
I knew it.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. So it's almost like it's like a reunion for the Jaguars. Wow. I just forgot the coach's name. That used to, who?
Doug Marrone?
No. Who was the coach before that? Not before that, but during the Super Bowls.
Oh, for the Jags?
Yeah, he was for the Giants. He was with the Giants.
Coughlin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, hey, let's edit that part out. So, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Tom Coughlin is basically a reunion for this first game of the season. And I don't think the Jaguars have enough from the receiving game. I just haven't seen it, and I don't trust Bortles. But then you got Eli Manning with basically he got a new Ferrari. He got a new Ferrari. He has a few upgrades in the O-line. He has Saquon Barkley. He has a healthy Odell Beckham. Has Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram. We're talking about Eli has, in my opinion, a high-powered offense. And this game is -4 going the Jags' way. I would bet the Giants put up a fight at home and come out with the W. I don't think I think if they do lose, it's going to be by a last-second field goal by the Jaguars. So I don't think the Jaguars cover the spread. I would bet money on the New York Giants keeping it close and potentially winning this game.
So I have a question. So Jalen Ramsey and Dante Fowler, they got suspended, Were they suspended for week 1 or just for 1 week during, the offseason even? I can't remember that. If they're suspended for week 1, then I definitely love the New York Giants. If they're not, I still would like the New York Giants, +4. I think their offense is way better than the Jags, and I think that if the Jags win, it would be because of their defense, and I could see them etching it out by a field goal, or the New York Giants coming out with the W because of their high-powered offense. So I do like that pick as well. Anyways, I think it'd be a good idea for us to keep record of the picks that we have, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So remember what picks that you bet with, and I like to place a wager with you on Fantasy Brothers right now if you're interested.
Definitely.
So
You know I'm a gambling type.
so we're going to pick 3 games per week. Let's say 2 sure things, 1 tough call. And at the end of the season, we can even pick the Super Bowl. We can do playoffs and everything. But basically, at the end of the season, when we all have a record of betting, the winner wins $100 from the other guy. How you feel about that?
Wins hundo.
Yeah, a hundo.
One blue chip.
One blue chip.
All right. Let's shake on it virtually.
Exactly. Got you. All right.
Let's do it. So, okay, I can't wait. Can't wait.
Can't wait for next Sunday.
So, what happens if it's a tie? We just go on to the next week.
If it's a tie at the end of everything.
Well, yeah, we were saying whoever wins the most bets, we bet on 3 games. So
per week. There's no way we'd have a tie by the end of week 16.
Oh, okay. Sorry. For some reason, I thought you meant just first week.
Nah, but if you want to do that, we can do it. But I mean, I'd rather do it.
You rather do it for the
no, you don't want to
whole
be
season?
You don't want to be in debt to me every week, do you? Like paying me like I'm the fucking mob or something, and I'm protecting your business. You don't want to be owing me $100 every week. So let's just do it at the end of the season, end of the year. Have a little fun.
Okay, all right, whatever. We'll have some other side bets going, especially in our fantasy leagues.
Yep, I'm just glad we got it documented right now. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. That wraps up episode 3 of Fantasy Brothers. We got some good content for y'all today and some things to look forward to. So can't wait till next Sunday. Thanks for listening, guys.